Hello, clean freaks. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Andy, and I help clean and organize my neighbors' homes for free. You can check out all the videos on my channel to see the different homes and look at the comments below to see all the kind and wonderful community members that we are building on this channel. It means the world to me that you're here. Let's dive in. I could not be more excited to show you this basement cleanup because the before and after transformation is incredible. What we're looking at here is about 4 or 5 years of total neglect, and it piles up quickly, but we're going to get it completely handled and under control today. Now, this is a shared storage space in the basement of my neighbor's apartment building, and you can see the difference there on the left. That's her neighbor's side, and you can see how her neighbors keep their side very clean versus how the person I'm helping out keeps her side a little bit cluttered. I can tell you, therefore, not only was my neighbor happy to get this mess cleaned up, but her neighbors were also so thrilled to get rid of the visual eyesore too. Now, before I get into talking about my process here, I want to point out that I've been reading all your comments, and I know that in addition to having no music over top of these cleanings, a lot of you have been requesting the videos be a little bit longer in length, because they serve as motivation for you to tackle your own cleaning and organizing. I think that's amazing, and I want to support that. And I have to say that you telling me that I motivate you motivates me, so we're just motivating each other here to be super cleaners. But based on that feedback, I'm going to try and make this video a little bit longer. I'm going to do a little bit less narration and let the time lapses play out at 4 times speed. A lot of the videos I've been putting up are at 20 times speed, so we can certainly try slowing it down this week. Be sure to stick around for the part where I tear down Box Mountain. That is my favorite part of this day. Now, the first thing you see I'm doing here is just assessing the situation to see what I'm dealing with. There are a lot of cardboard boxes. Some of them are totally empty from various household appliances or shipping boxes that just got tossed in the pile. How many of us are just holding on to empty vacuum cleaner boxes or TV boxes or Apple iPhone boxes? So many boxes. So we're getting rid of all of those. There's a lot of art and painting supplies because my neighbor paints as a hobby. And then there's all kinds of treasures to be found down here. Now, with this home and this room, there really is no best place to start. So I just pick an area and decide to start working towards seeing the floor. If you notice that I'm wearing a beanie, that's because it is freezing cold winter right now in Chicago, and this basement was a bit chilly when I got there. The gloves are less about the temperature and more just protection and kind of keeping my hands clean because a lot of the stuff down here is covered in dust and cobwebs, and I also just didn't want to grab something that was rusty or had a nail sticking out, you know? Now, the reason I was able to do a complete clear out in 4 hours time was not just because I have superhuman stamina and strength, but also because my neighbor was really motivated to get rid of almost everything down here, which is not always the case, as you guys have probably seen from some of the other videos. I'm specifically thinking of the garage cleanup I did. If you haven't seen that one, I'll link it at the end so you can check that out. But that said, I don't just want to throw everything in the dumpster, since my neighbor does have a lot of things that are worth keeping, some childhood memories scattered throughout this hoard. So I do have to stop and check out every single box before it goes in the pile. The other thing I have to look for is water damage. There was a small amount of water that got into this basement last year, and my neighbor reached out saying her primary motivation for me coming was because she knew the water got in last year, but didn't do anything about it and was just too overwhelmed and heartbroken to even come down here and look at what the damage might be because she let it go without being checked. So that's something else I'm looking at, and you can actually hear how crinkly and how crackly the cardboard boxes are that got water damaged. So anything that was water damaged, I just threw out immediately without thought. And at this point, I'm a little less than an hour into the project, and this is just the start of what I'm calling Box Mountain. I will tear down all of these boxes to take them out of the trash, but I thought it would be fun to wait and do that when I needed a break. So right now I'm just piling it all up, and then I go right back to the area I'm working on, and you can see that just even in the 45 minutes that I've been in this space, we are starting to see a much clearer area. You'll notice I'm sweeping as I go. There was a lot of basement cobwebs and spider webs with eggs, and a big mama spider kept peeking her head out. And I gotta tell you, I do not love spiders. I have no ill will against them, but they do freak me out. So if I looked a little off here, that might be why. Sure does. Okay, this is our update about maybe 90 minutes in. We've definitely got all of that cleaned up, and we're working our way here. And now I'm going to tackle Box Mountain. Now, this is about an hour and a half, maybe an hour 45 minutes into the cleaning, not even the halfway point, and this is the moment I realized that this was going to be a really satisfying before and after, which was super motivating for me to keep going and hauling all of this stuff out to the trash cans. Like I said, I only have about 4 or 5 hours at each of my neighbors' homes. Since I do these for free, that's the time I have to dedicate to the project. So it's always nice when I can get a job done in one day. I'm actually starting over here because what I just showed back there is all the hard stuff. So I'm going to wait and do that after I clear this space. I know that by clearing this space, I will have, one, it's going to make a big visual impact that this entire half will just be cleared out. And then I have room to put all the stuff over there over here. That's the plan. And here's a shot of how many garbage bags are piling up. Between the broken down boxes and this trash, we completely filled all of the trash cans in the alleyway on this job. Anything larger than this, we may have had to rent a dumpster or call and order a second weekly pickup for my neighbor. But because I try to avoid making people spend any money, I was super happy that we shoved all of this in. Surprise! There's a second box mountain. I bet you thought we were done with that. These boxes were actually a little bit sturdier, so I used a trick I learned at the food pantry when I was volunteering. They taught me that you step one foot into the box and then use the heel of your other foot to just aggressively kick the sides down, and that can get you through a lot of boxes very quickly. Also really helps getting anger out if that's your thing. So here you can see the progress we have made, which is quite a bit, and we got that floor opened up. Now my plan, and you can see from this angle, was to take all of the furniture to that far end and kind of mirror what her neighbor was doing on the left-hand side and push everything down there and just have a big, clear, open space. But my neighbor actually popped down here during Second Box Mountain and said, "Oh my gosh, I have so much space. I wonder if I can turn this into a little art area, a little area to work." So we talked about it, and we actually decided to keep her big desk kind of right where it is, and not shove everything down there. So this last leg, which is probably the last 45 minutes of the day, been working for a little over 4 hours at this point, is just to get this all cleared up so that she now has a big open space to create. And here's the finished result. 4 hours of speedy cleanup, quick decisions on what to keep and what to toss, and my neighbor now has a basement with only the things she wants to keep and that have value to her. The rest is off to the dump with the rest of the trash. As always, thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe and check out the rest of the videos, and share your cleanup stories with me below as we help clean up the world one home at a time. Why not? Think big. I'll see you next week.